What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to Beyond the X. Today I'm going to do a little tutorial on how to tie soft knots or how I tie soft knots, your knocking points, and how to do a D-loop. When I think of a soft knot, I take that quite literally. I like my soft knots to be soft. That way, I think that kind of helps prevent the knock pinch. I used to use this stuff. It's pretty hard. BCY 3D. Really good material, but it don't have much give. And then just recently, my pro shop turned me on to this. Little shout out to Center Shot Archery, Latonia, Kentucky. Good people over there. Carl, Sandy, Lenny, and I forget Lenny's wife, but great people. But anyway, this is a BCY Halo. BCY Halo braided Spectra, 0.009 thickness. And it's a little softer, but it's still durable. And this is what I'm going to use today. It's white, so you should be able to see it against the black a little better. And obviously, tie a soft knot, and you don't need much material for a soft knot. I don't know, 15 inches. But, obviously you tie your soft knot after you have your rest and your knocking points figured out. And another thing I like to do is you can get this is beeswax. You can get this little container with the beeswax already in it, with these slits in it. It's perfect for waxing your strings, or what I like to do is I like to put beeswax on my serving material. So I run it through here. Now you don't have to if you don't want to with this specific stuff, because when you tie your knot, or when you tie your half overhand knot, it'll stay. But normally the beeswax will help you. This is also beeswax, great stuff. It's what I wax my strings with and everything. All right. All right, let's start with the first knocking point. Let me grab an arrow just for GP. I've also done tutorials on how to make your own fletching wraps and how to fletch arrows. Pretty nice. But after you got your knocking points, go ahead and knock your arrow. And I normally start off with the bottom. And, I do just one overhand. A lot of people, they'll do, just like you're tying a shoe, they'll do one and then two. But I don't, I just do one. Get that good. And when you do these, you don't want to crank them down so tight that you're going through the serving that's already there. So after you do the first one on top, you go swing right down below, do the same thing. You're going to walk it away. And I'll do this about 3 times. I'll have 3 sets overhand knots on top, and then I'll bring the 4th one back up and cinch it in. That's 3. And when we come back up, we'll... Alright, so once you got to 3, you know, right between that second and third serving that you just created, when you do your overhand knot, you want to bring this down and get it right above that last one. And it'll cinch right down in there, and then you want to finish it with a square. You know, you did your half a square knot, overhand knot, then finish it off with your square knot. Burn. And tap. Bottom one's done. Let's go to the top. Same idea. Some people do more at the bottom, more on the bottom, less at the top. I do the same. And once you start this one, you want to make sure you got a little wiggle room, because if you don't, when you draw your bow back, you're going to get knock pinch, and that's going to raise your, when your arrow comes across your rest, when you get to the back, it's going to raise your arrow off your rest. And if it's doing that, you got knock pinch. You know, your string, when it comes back, it gets, you know, it comes to an angle, and it'll create that knock pinch, which if it's pinching back here, it's lifting up here. But after you got that space figured out, you go ahead and do the same thing for the top. You know, you're going to walk down, you're going to walk away. So if your knock's right here in the middle of these two white, you're going to walk this bottom one this way, the top one this way. However many you do on one side, you do on the other. It's not difficult at all. Bam. For those of you that are new, anytime you're burning a lighter anywhere around your string, you know, this flame needs to be up. You never flame under the string, always on top. The last thing you want your bow to do is blow up while you're working on it. The bow I'm currently doing this on is my first bow. So it's not, my other bow is already set to go. D-loop. I got a very long piece of D-loop cord. Before I do anything, I'll take one end of it, and a lot of times I like to run beeswax over this too. But for this tutorial, I'm not going to worry about it. You want to fuzz this end out until it can't fuzz anymore. At some point, it's going to stop for sure. So see how fuzzy that is? There you go. Then you're going to take your lighter, and you really don't want it to catch on fire. If it does, so be it. Blow it out as soon as you can. You want that thing to roll into a ball. Kind of like so. Because what's going to happen is you want this to be able to catch. And a lot of people press it down. I try to get mine melted into a ball where I don't have to press anything. If anything, the only thing I will do sometimes is I'll take one of these, I'll stick it in between and I'll pull down to create that lip. Okay. Now, instead of having all this material to work with, normally I would just do it like this, but I'm going to cut it for the purpose of the tutorial. And cut yourself about 5-6 inches. Bam. All right. So, D-loop. This burn knot, when you tie your D-loop, you're going to want this top knot to be away. And all this is for torquing. So what you're going to do, you're going to take the D-loop, loop it just like this, your burnt end on this left side, put it on far side of the string, take it, and basically you're going to do a half hitch. So take these two, run it up right through. Boom. Bring it down. And now you want to get this burnt side all the way down here. So before you really get wild with it, get that burnt, the burnt pieces right there. Get that there. And then you see I'm spinning this around. See that gap? Before you really get everything situated, you want that gap to be closed. At least I do. If you don't, it's not a big deal. But I'll take my pliers and I'll squeeze it closed. And then you can give this a good pull just to get it tightened. Then what you want to do, this string is coming out on this side of the string. It's coming up on the left side of the string. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it on the opposite side of the string, come around, come up, go through the hole, come around your D-loop material, come to the other side of the string, down, and back around, and pull. Actually, I might have made a mistake there. I don't know how. Let me see. Oh, no, I did. Oh. All right, yeah. Okay. Then once you get to this point, what I do is, I'll figure out where I want it, cut it, undo it, fray this end out until it can't be frayed no more. Get it burnt. Just kind of let it roll into a ball on its own. As long as you're holding it facing up while it's melting, gravity will pull it down and it'll form like a mushroom. Just like that. And then go back and tie your loop in. Once you get to this part, once you get to this part, after you got all your everything neat, take your pliers or your D-loop pliers, whatever you have, stick them in there and wrench it down. And there you have you a D-loop the correct way. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. See you on the next one.